Shutterstock Music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we have with us in Atlanta, Georgia, the founder of Black College Experience, the one and only Keisha Kelly. What's going on, Kels?
Been rolling since Friday, but I am proud to announce that my twin sister, a Alabama A&M Bulldog alumna, has brought another future Bulldog or future Jaguar or future whatever. We know HBCU, period, baby. So I am proud auntie of a new niece, finally.
Awesome. And what's the baby's name?
The baby's name is Kai. So she weighs 7 pounds and 11 ounces. So she was almost 8 pounds.
Well,
but we are
Kai.
Super excited.
So it's been a wonderful week of HBCU athletic competition. We had some drama during the middle of the week and some prayers up for Mr. Abercrombie in Tennessee State. But overall, it's a pretty good week of HBCU sports news, Kels.
Okay.
So, yeah, and if anyone hasn't been following our page, our guest tonight will be the head coach of the undefeated Morehouse, Rich Freeman. What's his motto, Kels? Fast, hard, smart?
It's fast, hard, and smart. And just to let everybody know, if anybody wants to call in, that call-in number tonight is 719-373-6861. PIN number is 49170. Again, that's 719-373-6861. PIN number 49170.
Right. And if you want to chat with us during the show, you can also chat with us on Spreaker. Just sign up for a free Spreaker account, or you can interact with us on Spreaker, or shoot us questions on Twitter and on our Facebook page. We check it. We would love to have more fan interaction because this is your show, HBCU fans. This show is for you, right, Kels?
Right, absolutely.
So we want to go ahead and jump off here. Start off with this news here. An update on Christian Abercrombie. His family was awarded a $7,500 grant from the College Football Assistance Fund. It's a tax-free grant, and that's going to help his family with travel and loss of income during this process while he recovers from the injury he sustained in the Vanderbilt game. He was listening. They put some music on his ears because he likes to listen to music, and he raised his hand. So his mom says she's blessed. He's blessed. He's fighting for his life to still be here. So we want to wish continued prayers on the recovery for Christian Abercrombie.
For people that don't know, and if you haven't, because I've been kind of following the story, and I'm glad you caught that update because I didn't get that one. But for people that don't know, Christian was born at 28 weeks. I want to say 28 weeks, 24. He was born early, and she said it plain and clearly. He was fighting for his life then, and he's still fighting for his life. So just to see, and if you listen to his mother, I mean, very well spoken, just very well spoken. You can tell that she's a devout Christian, like everything to her. God is everything to her. So she's very strong in her faith. And again, we're still praying for them, and we know why he's fighting for his life. Things are going to turn around for Christian, and just again praying for not only for the Abercrombie family, but also for Tennessee State and also for Vanderbilt, because it's also hard knowing that this came from your school. So, I think that Vandy Nation has, they stood up and they've done a lot of stuff as well. So, prayers to all of those people that are affected in this situation.
Exactly. We want to welcome my line brother, Patrick Perry. He calls in almost every week with us to give us his opinions on the comes and goings on in HBCU football. What's going on, PP?
Not much.
All right. You lost your title this week, man.
Man, it was a rough week, man.
Rough week. Congratulations to BJ Jones. He is the Black College Experience Week 6 Pick'em champion for the week, and hopefully BJ will be able to call in so I can give him his Champions Here serenade. But the first story we're going to talk about before we jump into the scores. And this had a little bit of buzz on social media, Kels, because it involved one of your legends, one of your Southern University Jaguar legendary coaches. The Black College Football Hall of Fame announced the finalists for the class of 2019. And Southern University's stadium's namesake, A.C. Mumford, was on there as a finalist. Reggie Flood made a post that said Mumford should have been in the Hall of Fame because he's already been in the College Football Hall of Fame. I think he was inducted into that in 2001. And he's not in the Black College Football Hall of Fame. He's a finalist this year. Kels, as a Southern University Jaguar, and I know you don't like to be biased, but you're a Jaguar. How did you take the news? How did you feel about that?
Well, between myself, Varick, and also Reggie, we've had this conversation back and forth. I also have some people that are actually in that, in that vicinity, and it's like they're pushing this year for it to happen, because I didn't realize, or maybe I meant, or maybe just temporarily forgot that he was a finalist last year, and somehow it came up, and I was like, oh, he was a finalist last year and he didn't get in. And to know that you're the third winningest coach, and how you used to terrorize the SWAC, and that you're not in the Black College Football Hall of Fame, and some of these other people are in, not to take anything from them, it's disturbing. And I think it's disturbing not only for the fact that you're a Jaguar, but even if I was from another school and you just knowing, the things that he's done,
right,
for Black college football, and knowing all of the accolades and the championships that falls behind his name, it kind of makes you raise the eyebrow. It kind of makes you think, okay, who didn't spend what, or who didn't pay something, or who had a big debt. So you start saying, okay, somebody didn't write a check, or somebody got a personal vendetta. It starts to make it. We know it's a lot of politics, but in this case, it really is. It's sad. And if he doesn't go in this year, then I'll still be in here arguing about this, and I'll be like, okay, that's 3 years down, and then we'll be ranting again next year.
Right. He's a coach finalist along with two other gentlemen, Willard Bailey, head coach of Virginia Union, Norfolk State, and St. Paul's, and also Virginia Lynchburg, and of course the aforementioned Arnett Ace Mumford. He was the head coach of Jarvis Christian, Bishop College, Texas College, and then Southern University. And then Joe Taylor, he was the head coach at Howard University, Virginia Union, Hampton University, and FAMU. The player finalists are as follows: Joe 747 Adams, quarterback out of Tennessee State; Corey Baker, defensive lineman out of Jackson State University; Dwayne Board, defensive end, North Carolina A&T; Emerson Boozer, running back, University of Maryland Eastern Shore; Greg Coleman, punter, FAMU; Kevin Dent, safety, Jackson State; Hugh Douglas, DE, Central State University; Donald Driver, wide receiver, Alcorn State University; Earl Harvey, quarterback, North Carolina Central; James Hunter, defensive back, Grambling State University; Richard Tombstone Jackson, another Jaguar. He was just inducted into your All's Hall of Fame last year, Kels, a defensive end; Henry Lawrence, offensive lineman, FAMU; Frank Lewis, wide receiver, Grambling State; Robert Mathis, linebacker, Alabama A&M; Tyrone McGriff, offensive lineman, FAMU; John Big Train Moody, running back, Morris Brown; Timmy Newsom, running back, kick returner, Winston-Salem State; Nate Newton of Dallas Cowboys, offensive line fame; offensive line, FAMU; John Taylor, opposite Jerry Wright. You got to look at that. You had two HBCU alums killing it for the 49ers. Wide receiver, Delaware State; Johnny Walton, quarterback, Elizabeth City State; Eric Williams, another one of those Cowboys offensive linemen out of Central State; and Rodnell Young, defensive back out of Alcorn State University. Congratulations to all of the finalists, players, and coaches. Some of these players had tremendous NFL careers and probably should have already been in the Black College Football Hall of Fame. But as we know, like Kel stated, it may be politics. Sometimes it's just not your year. And I made a little joke on Reggie's post to say, if he gets in, are y'all going to pull a TO? Just being my funny self, you know what I'm saying? But I'm hoping that Ace Mumford gets in. He deserves to be in. He's a legendary coach. Since I have had a pleasure of being around Southern University's program, I've learned the accolades that he achieved as a coach. And he really, really deserves to be in the Black College Football Hall of Fame, Kels and PP.
Hey, can I offer something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think The Black College Football Hall of Fame, it's only been around since, I think, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, Doug Williams started it up. So
it's still basically in its infancy.
Yeah, so it's going to be a cluster of, like, people who are going to, like, you got Hall of Famers that are not in. So I imagine Mumford's going to get in because look at what he's done as far as he's pretty much all SWAC schools, like Jarvis Christian when the SWAC first started. So I think he'll get in. But, it's going to be a backlog. That's all I want. Yeah, it's going to be a backlog.
Thank you for that, LB. I mean, when you have a Hall of Fame that's still new, even though you say it's been started since 2012, that's 6 years. I'm not sure how many they take in every year. I have to do my research just to see how many they take in per year. I mean, if it's that brand new, it's definitely going to take a while to get everybody in. But congratulations to the finalists. Can't wait to see who gets narrowed down, who gets inducted. All of these players are definitely deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. Now jumping over to the SWAC. And I've been making this saying ever since I saw this posting, Kels and PP. The mummy has returned to the tomb. Jackson State offensive coordinator Hal Mumme, of air raid fame, of Kentucky SEC fame, has resigned, or what someone else said, he was fired because Jackson State's offense was unable to raid any air in the first couple of games. And just so fitting, Jackson State comes back and beats UAPB without the air raid. So, what do y'all think about Hal Mumme resigning from Jackson State?
I think it's only a moment of time before the hammer is dropped on everybody. And honestly, if Hughes could be gone yesteryear, notice I said yesteryear. If he could have been gone yesteryear, they would have let Hughes go a long time ago. And we know, again, it's politics and everything, especially in sports. But it's a lot of fuss, it's a lot of uproar, it's a lot of talk around this athletic program, mainly football, and its coaching. It's a lot of stuff. And just looking back at the different things that Hughes has done in the past to try to get this team to work, and it has not worked. And even when you're going out recruiting heavy, if you're still doing the coaching isn't working out right, and you're unable to make the adjustments and sub in and out what you need to with the players, it's not going to make any sense. So with this here recent resignation, I'm really not surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if more resignations / firings come within the next couple of weeks, because I think, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, Jackson State, of course, has named Ashley Robinson, a Mississippi State alum, also Jackson native, as athletic director. And one of the first big things the athletic director likes to do is to reevaluate the football program, because that is the moneymaker of the universities, right, of every university that plays football. Football is the highest revenue-generating sport. And Ashley, may want to make a splash because a lot of the fans are unhappy with Hughes's performance the past couple of years. I'm definitely surprised at how Jack State has performed, because I'm a Coach Hughes fan. But you got to perform, you got to win, and he hasn't. And when you have a change of the guard like Jack State has, he's going to want to possibly bring in his own coach. And I guess we'll see if Hughes makes it through the year. I know if they lose this coming week, which I'm hoping they do, which they're playing us, our Delta Devils, PP. Wouldn't it be nice to spoil Jackson State's homecoming again, man?
Oh, the last time they put us on the schedule for homecoming, we saw what happened.
Exactly. We had a crime.
Yeah, so
I got a chance to make all my Tiger memes. I was excited. I enjoyed that day. But hopefully we'll get a chance to enjoy it again. But to jump into SWAC scoring news, we had a humongous upset. We had a monumental upset last week. We're having one this week. Alcorn State homecoming. Kels, this is karma for the Braves, because they rained on Southern's homecoming parade, and Alabama State did the same thing to Alcorn. with a field goal to win the game and count them not one, not two, not three, not four, but five. 5 times. Oh, where's my good buddy 5 times when I need her? 5 overtimes defeating the Braves 28-25.
Let's take a commercial break here before he comes on because I want to come back and talk about this game and what's stirring up around this game.
All right, we'll be right back with Black College Experience in 31 seconds.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's gonna happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and Kels, take it away.
Well, here, and the thing is it's a lot of stirring up, of course. It was a lot of banter, a lot of jokes, a lot of, who loses their homecoming. A lot of jokes behind it, funny. But it's not fun when the rabbit has to go. So to turn around and lose this the following week says a lot. And to go into a, like you said, not 1, 2, 3, or 4, but 5 overtime to lose. And there's 2 things right now. They want their coach fired. That's the first thing I'm hearing is they want the coach fired. I said it's one game. They want the coach fired.
They want McNair fired?
They want McNair fired. And then the other thing is that they're upset about the kicker. So, it's you have to look at it in this sense. It's when you see old alumni is who put money into those programs. That's who pumps money into the school. So only thing they care about is wins. They don't care how you do it, when you do it. They just want you to do it. And they don't care how you have to get it done. And that's just the rumor swirling around. And it's no guaranteed, but that's just the rumor I heard swirling around that,
wow.
They're just really upset. And I'm like, well, it's my homecoming game. So, I mean, but, you win some, you lose some, but now that puts them in the same position. Now you have to win out. So I think every last one of our brackets is jacked.
Exactly. And like you said, your head coach was in the same position last week. Fans were complaining about him. But, I just heard the ding. Our guest is on. So Alcorn loses homecoming. Now we go on to the star of our show. Okay, let's go ahead and introduce our guest for this evening.
Well, he goes by the motto, fast, hard, and smart. It took me a while to get used to it. I used to mix it up somewhere in there. But I had the pleasure of meeting Morehouse, Maroon Tigers head coach, Rich Freeman, last year at Media Day here, or SEAC Media Day here in Atlanta, Georgia. He is here with the Morehouse Tigers, and he has these guys rolling right now undefeated, 6-0. So I'm going to let him tell y'all about what he's doing here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hello, guys. How y'all doing?
We're doing all
right,
How you doing,
Coach Freeman?
Good. I just wanted to make sure you guys had me. Yeah,
yes.
I'm very happy to.
We have you like you have.
Yes,
we have you like you have those 6 wins this year.
Yeah, I tell you, it's been a mighty blessing that we've gotten off to I guess I can't say gotten off to a good start with us being on the back end of the season now, trying to go down the home stretch. But it was a really fast start, and I want to thank our players and coaches. My work is minimal. All I have to do is try to manage some really good people that the good Lord blessed us with, and they're on fire, and I'm very proud of them.
Exactly. Now, Coach.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Kels.
Okay, so I'll start it off here. We go back. Let's go back to the predictive order of finish because we know where they predicted y'all to finish. And I still remember this conversation. I look back at the videos, and mostly everybody that comes through the CX has the same thing. We don't really care about where they put us in the predictive order of finish. Talk about where they actually predicted you guys to be and where you guys are right now.
Well, I think they predicted us to finish in 4th place in the East, and that I really feel like that was a good prediction. Going off of what happened on last season. the only Eastern Division team that we defeated was Clark Atlanta, our across-the-street rival. And, we fell to Albany. We fell in a big way to Albany and Fort Valley. And we also lost to Benedict as well in 2 overtimes. So I thought that was a pretty fair prediction, and the jury is still out because we play our first Eastern Division game this weekend against Albany State.
Okay, so Coach, being that happened, coming into this season, you play an out-of-conference game. I remember having this conversation as well. You come in, you play a SWAC team, which is University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. You get that first win. I know that gave y'all a lot of confidence. How were you feeling after that first win, Coach?
Well, it was our first win over a FCS opponent in a long time. Actually, it was our second win. We beat a Savannah State team, and I'm talking a long time ago, maybe 2007. And so every time you get a chance to beat an opponent up in terms of the rankings, it always feels pretty good. And let's keep in mind, we had previously lost to Arkansas Pine Bluff the previous season and 2 seasons before in overtime. So, we knew we could play with them, but we wanted to get to a point where we got the monkey off our backs and just, finish and win the game.
Okay, and I'll go with one more, Derek, and turn it over to you.
All right.
The motto, fast, hard, and smart, Coach. Talk to us about the motto and how you done got the kids to buy into it, because it seems like they're rolling with it too.
Well, here's the thing. We like to, everything that we do, that's a mantra that we've gone by since the program's inception in 2007. We want to move at a really fast rate, get everybody, get the tempo, not only of the players, the coaches, and we want that philosophy to permeate throughout the campus. We want to move fast to show that we have substance and zeal and get up and go. We want to move and play hard. We want to have a tough mentality. Don't want anything to be lacking in terms of physicalities. And last but not least, we want to be smart. So I think the philosophy encompasses everything that we're looking for in a football program and how that football program should maneuver. And I think it complements what a Morehouse man is all about.
Exactly. Now, Coach Derek Thomas, just looking at last year's teams, the previous 2 years, you only won 7 games. If you are able to beat Albany State next week, you will have won the same amount of games in one season that you did the past 2 years. Now, we all know a lot of the players who were on those 2 previous teams are probably now juniors and seniors. Talk about how you have developed those young men and gotten them off to this amazing 6-0 start.
Well, one of the things that we did, I benefited from. I had an internship with the Atlanta Falcons, and that internship was to, familiarize minority coaches with the way things work on that NFL level. It was a 3-day internship, and it couldn't have come at a better time as we were attempting to, continue our program after a big win last season against Clark Atlanta. And we wanted to keep the fire burning. After the big win, we rolled over into the basketball season. Basketball dominated, did some unprecedented things. And then, as I mentioned earlier, this summer I had the internship with the Falcons. And, I learned many things there, but one of the best takeaways, I would say, is, being able to try to relate to the new student athlete, so to speak. I was presented with a question, The question was, and it was a rhetorical question. They said, you have this coach on one hand, it's a my way or the highway philosophy, and when I say jump, you look at me and your response should be how high.
Yes, indeed.
Well, back in the day, and the recent day, that coach would be considered a hard-nosed, pretty good football coach. Well, nowadays that coach is considered a jerk, with
Right.
the type of the kids that we're having. And we can't blame the kids because we're the ones that raised the kids. So these kids need love, and we don't need to turn our backs to them. And I was a bit of a stoic football coach, so just something as subtle as being able to look at it from that lens. That I brought a new person in leadership with myself into the program. I was a little bit more open-minded. I wasn't as rigid when it came to small things. I was able to, adapt to the philosophy. You got to catch a fish first, and then you got to clean the fish second, rather than, trying to clean it before you catch it. And so, I wasn't as judgmental this go around as I've been in the past. I've made some mistakes in that regard. And I think that made for a more relaxed environment. Now, we're still a discipline-first football team, but it made for a relaxed environment. The kids were a little bit more comfortable, and I think they're able to use their God-given abilities. So I think that paid some dividends, in addition to many other things that we don't have time to talk about right now.
Right. Now, like Kel said, you all have two big games coming up. First being Albany State, and then Benedict. Right now, all three of you are tied for the lead in your division at 2-0. And, most people probably thought Fort Valley State or Albany State would be running away with this division. But, these three things, your team and Albany State and Benedict, have shocked some people. And when we first did our Black College Experience Pick'em, I did not pick y'all to win. I just figured Arkansas Pine Bluff was gonna handle business. I also, did not pick you all to beat Central, but I have picked y'all the last 3 weeks. I picked y'all to beat Miles, Kentucky State, and Tuskegee. So thank you for my 3-0 wins the past couple weeks. I'm gonna pick y'all next week too, because you roll with the hot hand, and you all have had some dramatic finishes. You all have had every type of game. You've had close games against Arkansas Pine Bluff. You had blowout games against Lane and Central. Close games, 2 scores, 23-21, 2 victories against Miles and Kentucky State. I mean, how ironic that you defeat both of those teams with the same score. And then this awesome game against Tuskegee, the SEAC, I guess you could say, perennial champion of the SEAC. You handled them. And, what you're building at Morehouse, it's great. I mean, you've been head coach there since 2007, correct?
Correct.
And I mean, it's like you're building on your bricks, and you had a couple of down years, and sometimes when a head coach has a couple of down years, administrations get antsy. I am so glad, I'm pretty sure they're glad also, that they let you stay to continue to build the bricks, and the bricks that you've built, that's what's allowing you to have the start that you're having. I'm pretty sure, like Kel stated, the predicted or finished individuals who voted you out fourth are probably like, well, Morehouse sure making us look like a fool. And it's good to see a team that no one thought. I love an underdog. It's good to see a team that no one thought would do anything shocking the world. What I want to ask you about next is talk about some of your stars. I know 2 names that I saw. I think one of them has graduated. And I'm a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan. When I saw the name Vanover, I was like, well, those must be Tamarick Vanover's kids. I was like, my God, I mean, that's awesome to have, young men who come from his pedigree. He was an all-world athlete in college and pro. Having his sons play football for you. Talk about the Vanover kids and also your current stars on your team that's helped you start off to this 6-0 start.
Well, it's really cool to have 2 kids, not one, but the 2 sons of a former NFL football player, and Tamarick Vanover Sr., and he's he's one of the nicest guys. I had the pleasure of meeting him and having several encounters with him. And he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And he supports his kids, and they have a wonderful mother as well that really supports. And those Vanover kids are really great kids. You know, you wouldn't know they're in the room with you unless you said something to them. They're very soft-spoken but very explosive, talented athletes. On one hand, you have the SIAC 100-meter champion in Dedrick Vanover, and his brother Tamarick. You know, he's one of our top receivers and kick and punt returners. And you know, both of them are, and both of them had slow starts. You know, both Dedrick and Tamarick, but you know they're having fast finishes. So I'm proud of those kids, and can't say enough about what Mikey Sims is doing for us, our quarterback. Came to us as a walk-on last season, and ended up sharing time with our starter last year. And we knew we had a diamond in the rough from day one. He has the ability to sit in the pocket, and he's not, he's not frustrated or afraid, for lack of better terms, of a oncoming rush. So it enables him to be able to see down the field and find open receivers, and that's a rare skill that quarterbacks possess. You know, and usually the ones that have it, they're the good ones.
Right.
Santo Dunn, running back, played him out of position last year at receiver. I'm sorry, you're about to say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we played him out of position last year, and we recruited him just as an athlete. And, you know, we were thinking of playing him at receiver and defensive back, kick returner, punt returner. But he ended up coming to me last spring and just mentioning to me, he said, Coach, I want to touch the ball every play, you know, if I can. And, you know, that was a different type of swagger that he brought to the table. He was graceful with how he said it, but I actually admired him for that, and we moved him to running back. He had a great spring, and it was only a matter of time in our mind before he had a breakout game against someone, and it came sooner than later because he had that breakout game as he introduced himself to the world against Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Right, and
so,
talking about
explosive players.
Yeah, talking about Santo Dunn, like you just said, he's been explosive. Total of 647 net yards, 10 touchdowns, averaging 107 yards per game, basically 108 yards a game if you round up. Long of 77. I'm pretty sure you're glad that you listened to him and put him at running back because he has been a playmaker for you guys. And at quarterback, Michael Sims, very efficient, 62% of his passes, only 9 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, very efficient, over 206 yards passing per game. And receiving-wise, looks like y'all have threats all over the field. You know, you have 3 people with more than 2 touchdowns. And then, you know, the leader is Ryan Edwards with 4. I mean, you guys have weapons all over the field. Defensively, you're averaging 2 sacks a game. I mean, your defense. I mean, and it's not just from one player. It's more than one player. Too high with 3 sacks as Edward Nelson and William Callaway with 3, Antonio Johnson with 2. All around your team, you have playmakers on both sides of the ball. When you have athletes like that, it makes you hard to stop and and when you need a defensive stop, you have more than one player that you can depend on to come up with that defensive and offensive play to help you win games. And it looks like these young men, we all know Morehouse is known for its academic standards. But now, you know, you have Morehouse, man, the academic standard along with the athletic standard. Now in football, we know we did last year in basketball. Now the football team has come on. I mean, the best of both worlds. I mean, if you want to go somewhere where you can get a good education and have a successful athletic career, looks like Morehouse is saying you can come here and do that too. Because we had your former running back coach on our show, Enrique Davis, and you know I was hoping he could have stayed on, but I know he decided to leave. But he was ecstatic about what you were building at Morehouse. I mean, it's just awesome to have someone of his caliber on your staff, and because we had him on when you all had Cardell Thomas for a visit, and I want to talk to you about your recruiting. How are you going to still try to go after guys that people want to say, well, Morehouse doesn't have a chance to go after, and sell them on the history, the aura, and the, I guess, pageantry of Morehouse, not only as an athletic institution, but academic institution as well?
No question about that. And, yes, Enrique Davis, that was a guy, I'm glad you mentioned his name. He did a really good job last year helping us, recruit some of the finer athletes. He had a hand in that Santo Dunn recruit, as well. And, his efforts led him to get a promotion, and he moved on to West Georgia University, where I'm sure he's doing even better things over there. Recruiting for us, yes, it's definitely it's interesting, because on one hand, we do have the proud history and tradition from an academic standpoint. We have a great location, located right in the middle, nestled right in the middle of downtown Atlanta, Georgia, one of the hottest cities in the United States. We have famed graduates. You have Spike Lee. You have Samuel L. Jackson, and the most prestigious and esteemed graduate of all time, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And, we have some guys that's out there, some of our recent graduates, with over the last 10 years, out there just moving and shaking and doing some groundbreaking things. So it's definitely a place to look into. But here's the thing, we go after some of the finest student athletes in the country, and so that separates us from some of our competitors and counterparts, because they go after some of the best athletes. And of course, it's far more good athletes out there than it is great student athletes. I didn't say good student now, I say great student athletes. And so sometimes, we'll have a hot class, and sometimes we'll have an average class because of the grade restrictions and so on and so forth. But at the same time, I think just the rigors of our campus, we may recruit a young man that may not be a top recruit, but by the time he gets to be a sophomore, junior, or senior, you guys are talking about him. All those names that you just named are guys that were on the team last year. And it's like night and day from their performance last year to this year. So not only are we attracting top talent, even the talent that's not the top talent becomes top talent by the time they leave. And I think that's enough said there.
Exactly, Coach. And it's funny that you mentioned the separation between student athlete and athlete student, because sometimes at the higher level of football, it's athlete first and student second. But in order to be a successful college student, you have to be a student first, athlete second. And that keys to what Morehouse is looking for in a student athlete, because you got to get those books. You could be a great football player, but if you're not great in the classroom as well, you're not going to make it.
Well, let me say this, and we have a new president, and Dr. David Thomas, and he's a Harvard guy, and he's come in and he's raised the bar a little bit. He doesn't even want us to refer to the student athlete as a student athlete. His direct quote to our entire team, and this came less than a week ago, we ought to refer to our athletes not as student athletes, but as scholar athletes. So that takes it up another tier, and we're going to do that, and we're going to continue to recruit and push our guys as we retain them to be scholar athletes.
Kels?
So, Coach Freeman, being that you're coming up, and you said Albany State is your opponent this week, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what are you guys doing in order to prepare for your East opponent for this week?
Well, the most, I tell you, the biggest opponent that we have is always, I think it's always yourself. You have to look in that mirror and make sure that you have the best you ready to go out and perform every time the opportunity is given. Right now we have had some success, and that success is relatively new to the young men that are within the program right now. The Lord has blessed us as coaches. We've been a part of the first playoff team in school history back in 2010. That's 8 years ago. And, we did some really good things, had a great 5-year run. So we saw it, and we know what it feels like as a coaching staff. But the players, the current players, hadn't seen what it feels like. And so now we have to go back, and luckily we have a little bit of experience to do so. We have to be able to go back and talk to the guys about how to maintain while you're having success. Because, it's pitfalls that come with both success as well as failure. So we have to make sure that we keep our guys, engaged and, just try to make them elude the pitfalls that comes with winning and winning big.
Okay, Derek.
That's all I have. I mean, I can't wait to see what happens next week. I'm hoping that you come out undefeated because I would love to see you all keep that undefeated streak. I was looking at the games, comparing your wins against Albany State, and you all defeated Tuskegee. They lost to Tuskegee. You all defeated Miles. They beat Miles. But I know each game is different. But of course, us fans, we look at things like that. Well, Tuskegee got shut out Albany, so Morehouse should have no problem beating Albany. As a former football player, I know that that's far from the case. It's going to be a hard-fought game. I'm hoping that you guys are able to keep your winning streak and rise to the top of your division and compete for a championship towards the end of the season. Congrats to you, Coach. You're building a great team over there. And like you said, the previous two teams weren't successful. This one is. Sometimes it just takes that one season to start that success of long term because, the current guys there, when the new guys come in, the standard is being set, and you want to try to follow that standard. That what is it? What's your motto?
Fast, hard, and smart.
Fast, hard, and smart standard. So when the next group of guys come in, they need to already be ready to move fast, hard, and smart. So thank you, Coach, for joining us tonight. And
Coach, I don't know if you know, they're saying that Morehouse is the only HBCU football team that's undefeated right now. They said y'all the last one hanging on. So y'all the last one that have not been beaten.
I did not know that.
Yep.
I did not know.
Not to put any pressure on you, Coach, but just to let you know, y'all are the last ones standing.
Well, let me tell you this. I'm on the campus of Morehouse College. That's one of the most rigorous institutions in the nation to maneuver on. So we're used to pressure. You bring it on.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us tonight.
Okay, have a good one. Thank you for having me.
You too.
All right.
Good night.
Chaos, man, that was an interesting interview. I mean, I am an instant fan, and I can't wait to see the outcome of next week's game. Pretty sure they're going to have the game plan ready for Albany State. Some of those players I mentioned. I mean, if you go and look at Morehouse's stats, Albany State is going to have some problems. I mean, they're not going to be the key on one single player.
Well, the thing is, last year in the predictive order of finish, they had Albany finishing. I want to say they had Albany finishing out 1 or 2 in the East, And then we've seen, how that kind of fizzled out with Coach G. So, it's been some up down things, and some things that we thought would happen didn't happen. And then you had some other things plug in. So I think it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens in this week's game. And if he continues on with this game plan, and they look at the motto, fast, hard, and smart, and they play every game week by week, just take it week by week, I think that they do have the chance to go on this run for a championship.
As well, I do think so also. I guess we'll see. But let's go ahead and run down the rest of our scores for our HBCU Week 6, October 6th weekend. We talked about Alcorn's upset. Jackson State defeated Arkansas Pine Bluff 30-27. I didn't pick Jackson State. I thought Pine Bluff was going to win that game. Our Delta Devils PP after starting. Didn't they start at 14-0 up on Bethune-Cookman before they let them walk them down?
Mm-hmm.
It was a monsoon that game, man.
Yeah, I saw the picture you posted with the window. Like, wow. And we end up falling to Bethune-Cookman 41-27. Alabama A&M defeats Texas Southern 42-21, and Grambling State hit Oklahoma Panhandle with the pan, defeating them 62-7. That's good for Grambling because their offense has been non-existent this year. I mean, after being prolific the past 2 years, Grambling, hadn't really done much offensively, and Hickenbottom led the team in passing and rushing with 297 yards through the air, 71 yards on the ground, and Grambling just looked like Grambling of old. But we know Panhandle is not a real strong team, but it's good to see Grambling's offense get the ball rolling and scoring some points. Jumping over to the MEAC. South Carolina State defeats Morgan State 21-18. FAMU snake beat Norfolk, shutting them out 17-0. Now, here's an upset, Kels, that if we would have picked this game, we all would have lost. Savannah State, the alma mater of Shannon Sharp, upsets Charleston Southern 23-3, a team that blew out Hampton.
Ooh.
They blew out Hampton.
What was the score?
41-10. They blew out Hampton 41-14. But Savannah State defeats Charleston Southern 23-3.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's what you get for trying to pick on a second straight HBCU. You know what I'm saying? The MEAC says, you know what, you beat up on one of us, we're going to come back and beat you up. That's what we do when you mess with our brothers. You know what I'm saying? The Howard North Carolina Central game, back and forth game. North Carolina Central's quarterback, I had his name here, Chauncey Caldwell, had a breakout game, leading his Eagles to a 40-35 win over Howard. I already talked about Bethune-Cookman. North Carolina A&T did what they were supposed to do, defeating Delaware State 34-6. All right, jumping over to the SAIC, we just talked about Tuskegee. Morehouse, what they did this past week to Tuskegee. Central State loses to Miles 41-20. That was Miles' homecoming game. Albany State defeats Catawba College 35-21. West Virginia State defeats Kentucky State 61-42. Now, Kentucky State's a SEAC team. West Virginia State is a Division II independent. That was West Virginia State's homecoming game. Benedict defends his homecoming turf 30-16 over improved Virginia University of Lynchburg squad. They beat the Dragons 30-16. Hampton blows out Lane 41-8, and Clark defeats Fort Valley State 21-19. But Kels, I mean, Virginia University of Lynchburg defeated Fort Valley State last week, blew them out. I expected them to, compete better with Benedict, but Benedict is right there, trying to be the leader in the division where Morehouse is, So, I mean, they weren't playing any games,
Right. And while we're here and while we're out of the division, I don't know if we picked or anybody. We went with Edward Waters, but Edward Waters did win in an overtime, 30-33 over Warner. I mean, this could go any way, anytime. I'm sick of the picks because it's just all over the place. So then it's like, I got to pick my team. Y'all got to pick your team. Then we got to pick all these teams this week. And I think it's going to be some good games. I mean, You look at it, you got homecoming for Jackson State. You got homecoming for Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M plays Alcorn. Southern plays Prairie View. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be some heat in the SWAC this weekend.
I mean, that's a potential preview of the SWAC championship game. But Alabama State is now number 1 in the East after beating Alcorn. So Alcorn is in a familiar spot now, number 2 in the SWAC East. The Braves don't like that, but should have won your game. And yeah, it was good to see Ed Waters, our good friend, Coach Ruffin, getting another win as he revives that program and gets it off the ground. I mean, he has definitely improved from last year. So, hope we'll get Coach Ruffin on toward the end of the season to talk about his progress. Congrats on the win. I mean, that's a big, big win. Like he said, he has a lot of freshmen. But to run down the scores in the CIAA, Virginia Union destroyed Lincoln 90-0. Where's the mercy rule? That looks like that South Dakota State versus Pine Bluff game. 90-0 versus your conference foe. Come on, what happened to I am my brother's keeper? I guess they left that out the door. Winston-Salem State defeats Johnson Smith 34-14. Fayetteville State defeats Shaw, a game that we picked. I picked Fayetteville State. And the next game is up. I'm shocked. Shawan defeats my good buddy Morehouse and the Bowie State Bulldogs 42-23. I wasn't expecting that when I saw that, Kels. I mean, Bowie State normally is able to score enough points to where their defense doesn't hurt them. Not this day. They get blown out. Kels? All right. And St. Augustine defeats Livingstone 26-15. And Virginia State blows out Elizabeth City State 41-19. For our rest of our independent games, let me pull that up here. I have that right here. Because we have Tennessee State losing to Austin P, and that was another one of our games that we picked. At first I picked Austin P, but then I saw all of y'all picking Tennessee State. I guess that's what I get for trying to go with the crowd. Austin P defeats Tennessee State 49-34. Langston now sits at 4-1. They defeated Texas Wesleyan 55-31. They're still rolling. What are the rest of our games? Lincoln, Missouri loses homecoming to Quincy 14-13. Another game that we picked. So that's it for our scores for HBCU football. And we'll be getting ready for next week. We got a lot of homecoming games coming up next week, Kels. Let me put these homecoming games up for next week because we had a lot of homecoming games this week. I'm sorry. The schools that had homecoming, of course, was West Virginia State, Alcorn, Livingstone, Virginia Union, Miles, Bethune-Cookman, FAMU. And all those teams had a wonderful homecoming crowd. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately for FAMU, you had rain. Not FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, you had rain, which puts a damper on homecoming when you have the fans out. But, we know homecoming is something that is special to an HBCU. It's more than just a football game. It's more than just the bands. It's coming back home to where you earned your degree and the memories and the friendships that help shape you as an individual, Kels and PP.
Absolutely.
So, looking at next week, we're going to do our picks in the Facebook Messenger, but we have some homecoming games coming up this week, and we just want to talk about the homecoming games coming up this week. Homecoming games this week in HBCU football, we have Alabama A&M. We'll be battling the Alcorn State Braves, Bowie State against the Virginia State Trojans, Central State versus UNC Pembroke, Chowan versus Virginia Union, Clark Atlanta versus Benedict, Jackson State versus our Devils PP, Kentucky State versus Miles, Lane versus Allen, Lincoln versus Elizabeth City State. So those are all the homecoming games for next week. You know, all the fans, alums traveling in back to your HBCU, you know, come back home, fellowship. It's just great, you know, to be able to go back home to your HBCU. And I've been able to spend the past couple of homecomings covering the Southern University Jaguars. And the Jags welcome this Delta Delta in like family, even though, you know, I'm somewhat of a non-threatening enemy because we know we won't be able to beat y'all in football. But we're almost out of time. Kels, anything else you want to discuss before we close it out?
Just to let everyone know, we got some. We do have Nicholas Everett, or help me if I'm saying it wrong. Everett Nicholas. Everett Nicholas will be joining us next week. He is out of y'all alma mater.
That's right.
Mississippi Valley. So he will be joining us next week. The following week, I'm not going to even tell y'all who's coming. Just keep the commissioners in mind. Because I got them rolling back to back to back. So just keep commissioner in mind. They're already like, okay,
we had my
we
homeboy, Dr. McClellan, on. And the next up, we're going to have some more. We're going to keep it rolling, man. We're going to try to get some NFL players on, some former greats on. You know, we're here for y'all. You know, we're your show. And we thank all our listeners for listening to us every Sunday night, for interacting with us on social media. We're thankful because, you know, without our listeners.
Thank you.
Yeah, without
Absolutely.
our listeners.
Thank you for supporting us week to week to week. Patrick, above all, thank you every week for calling in, interacting with us, even if you beat us on the picks. Thank you every week for being a complete supporter. We do. We got to get you a T-shirt anyway. We got to get you a T-shirt to you anyway. In this next quarter, we gotta mark you down on this. Don't ask me for a blue one because it ain't happening. Okay?
Oh.
No, seriously.
Now know that's our favorite color.
If he wants blue, we'll take care of him and get him blue. But we really appreciate your dedication to Black College Experience. We really do.
No problem. Yeah, I just want to see a Valley win on my birthday Saturday.
Oh, man. And a Valley win.
How old will you be?
Enough.
Don't get up here. Don't lie up here on Sunday. Don't lie on Sunday. Okay, so it must be like 30.
I mean, I'm trying to decide do I want to go to the game or not, but I'm leaning towards going though. You know?
Yeah, I just came home this past weekend. My high school had its Hall of Fame. Alcorn legend Milton Mack had his high school jersey retired, and believe it or not, we had some Delta Devils getting inducted to my high school football's Hall of Fame. Broderick Robertson and Gerald Mallard, PP. I mean, so I didn't even know these guys went to Valley until when the Hall of Fame nominations came in. They're like, well, these are Delta Devils. So I was like, well, y'all got to get them in. So, congratulations to those guys, those HBCU legends, Callaway High School legends, for being inducted to the high school football's Hall of Fame. Callaway High School, Jackson, Mississippi, my alma mater. So I'm hoping that our Delta Devils can win. And, Kels, your Jaguars have a tall order ahead of them also, playing against Prairie View.
We do. We're going against Prairie View. I mean, I had this conversation with Dooley when he was here in Atlanta back in September. I said, we'll see you in Texas, and he laughed. He said, okay. Okay, so now we'll see them in Texas. So we're going to see what Odoms is going to do. We're going to see what has changed in this bye week. I want to see what is going to be different here in Texas. Of course, I'm hoping for the W, but it is going to be a long road, so we'll see what's going to happen this weekend.
All right, well, Kels, go ahead and close us out.
All right, well, that is our show. Once again, thank you, everybody, for supporting us this week. To everybody in their homecomings, happy homecoming, safe travels, have fun. Win y'all games, please. Don't be like Southern. Don't lose your homecoming. Don't be like Alcorn. Don't lose your homecoming. But we know, seriously, it's all in love, and someone has to lose, and someone's going to win. So, again, have fun, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace out, everybody.
Shutterstock Music.